Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Zach Dickinson here. Hope you have all had a wonderful and blessed weekend. Hope it's been a wonderful start to a wonderful week. I'm coming here at Monday evening, 7 p.m. I've been a bit lazy today and, well, just didn't feel like doing anything. But last week I touched base on some of the stuff that has come out already involving the DCU. Now we're going to be talking about everything confirmed with a release date, everything confirmed, no release date, um, all the rumored projects, and everything in between. We're talking how is the DCU vision that Peter Safran and James Gunn are currently building. I'll also talk about a few potential sequel projects and stuff like that. So let's get on into it. So, with the current DCU slate of projects, we have had Superman, Peacemaker Season 2, and Creature Commandos Season 1. Also, a crypto short series has also come out. Those are a couple of projects that have come out already. We have 5 total confirmed projects. However, this is a basically a multiverse already. So 4 of these projects are known to be in the canon DCU, and 1 is in Elseworlds. Elseworlds project would be the Batman Part 2, which comes out next year in October or November in 2027. A good 5.5 year in between Part 1 and Part 2 of the Batman, led by Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson. So the other 4 projects are Supergirl, which comes out in just a couple of weeks from right now. We have Man of Tomorrow coming out in about 1 year from right now, 1 year and a little change. Then in August, later this year, in about 2.5 months, we have Lanterns, which and then also in October of this year, we have Clayface. So these are the 5 confirmed projects that we also know definitively when they will be coming out. Supergirl is based off of a short run of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And it is mostly set in space and deals with Kara dealing with her trauma of living as a teenage girl and knowing her parents and growing up, but then being sent away as they are basically being sucked away in some capacity. Um, we don't know too much about the movie. We just know it's based off this comic. We know it's close to as faithful as possible. There is also Lobo is in this as well, which is great. I don't know why he hasn't been ever introduced before in a DC universe. And this, and we also know that Superman, aka Clark Kent, aka Kal-El, will also be appearing, and this is how she'll get her suit, which is a nice touch too as well. And we know that and we know pretty much the main plot point of it is Crypto is dying, and they're going to be fighting to save Crypto. And so that's Supergirl. Man of Tomorrow is presumably a fight where Lex and Superman have to team up and presumably go against Brainiac. That'll be a very interesting movie. Presumably, we'll still have Guy Garner, Hawkgirl, and potentially even Jon Stewart appearing. This could also be an appearance where Batman appears for the very first time. That's just, I don't know. That's just a random possibility. Clayface is the first official thing set in live action Gotham, and it will be the origin story of Clayface. It has a $40 million budget. That means, including marketing, it'll need like 150 to break even. And also, this will be the testing project to see if other horror projects or horror-esque projects like Swamp Thing or others like it will be able to, with a low budget film, be able to make money out of them. I would say if Clayface is successful, Swamp Thing will get produced very soon and very quickly at that, if there's a good script behind it. Then we have Lanterns, which is set in 2026 and 2016, telling the story of Hal Jordan and John Stewart settling something going on in the Midwest of the U.S. Of course, the only concern I have about this is how often will they be in suits, and hopefully, will we see stuff by the end of the show with any alien Green Lanterns to any degree? And so, well, there's a lot to know about the Batman Part 2, but there's also not a lot. We know about some castings and stuff, but we don't know an actual thing because it's just now filming and there's no trailer. The other projects, most of the other projects are coming out this year, with except for Man of Tomorrow. That'll be coming out next year, but we know a general consensus because we've also seen a few test photos from James Gunn himself, including Lex Luthor getting his famed suit that has never been portrayed in live action. So now we'll be going over to pretty much all the confirmed projects. These are projects that are basically greenlit, but we're waiting on scripts and further development to be happening. As in, these are the projects that don't have release dates, but I'll be splitting them up into parts so that I can talk about them in little spurts and showing my guessing points of when they might be coming out throughout 27 and 28 and beyond. Alright, so now we have the next 6 projects I think will be coming out next. Again, we don't know everything that will be coming out for sure, but I think these are the next couple that'll be coming out, with one already having a technical confirmed release date area, but it's not until 2028, so I didn't include it in the first part of the video. So we'll be starting it off with the first two TV shows that I think are gonna be coming out first, which is the Blue Beetle animated show, which is going to be a sequel to the Blue Beetle movie that already came out about 2 years ago in the early stages of James Gunn taking over. And so I don't know what's going to happen in this. I do prefer Blue Beetle as a whole to be animated. I just think it's a better choice and it's easier to portray as a whole. I know Ted Kord is probably going to be in it, and they're probably going to start portraying stuff about the Scarab, and we're going to soon down the line, we're going to have stuff with the Scarab invasion. The next project I think will be coming out, and yes, pretty much all of these projects that I'm listing are coming out late this year and or early next year, and Blue Beetle is stated as late this year, early 2027. So the next project is Creature Commandos Season 2. This was a fun ride for Season 1. I think Season 2 will continue with another fun mission while telling a bunch more origin stories or telling stuff that's what's happened in between. We know G.I. Robot, Dr. Phosphorus, The Bride are all still here. We know King Shark and a few others are going to be here as well. The next few projects we don't know too much about. I'll say the next one that we know pretty much the most about, we know Dynamic Duo, which is by far pretty much the most hyped project I have for a DC project that is also coming out in 2 years. Dynamic Duo is basically a what if scenario of Jason Todd and Dick Grayson being the Robins at the same time, which is a very unique take, and I'm very interested to see how it goes. Also, with Jason Todd and Dick Grayson being Robins at the same time, presumably by the end of the film, they'll both be into their post-Robin counterparts in Nightwing and Red Hood. I would presume that at some point between Clayface, Man of Tomorrow, and Dynamic Duo, we get our Batman for the DCU. I would hope and pray that at some point in one of those we get our live action Batman. Now, Dynamic Duo is not necessarily live action, it's puppet animation style, and it's a very unique take, and I can't wait to see how that goes. Now, the next project that we know pretty much the most about is Waller, which was originally set to come out before Peacemaker Season 2, but the scripts for Peacemaker Season 2 came out quicker than Waller, and Waller was basically put on pause and on hold when the writer's strike happened. Now, honestly, at this point, I don't even know if Waller will come out to begin with. I think Waller may just get integrated with the whole storyline over multiple projects. But if Waller does come out, it will come out next year or never at all, because we're running out of space for Waller to come out, because it is a live action TV show and it's also been in development for quite a while. The next thing that I believe will come out is the Wonder Woman movie, which is currently getting kind of fast tracked. We've heard since sometime last year that a Wonder Woman film was in production and that the director for Teen Titans will be going to Wonder Woman first, then Teen Titans, which is why Teen Titans is not in this part. And so I don't know what portrayal of Wonder Woman in this we will get. I would hope and presume that Paradise Lost gets put out at some point after Wonder Woman. I would say Wonder Woman comes out sometime in 2028. And late 2028, early 29, which I have Paradise Lost in the next one. But in this case, Paradise Lost should come out sometime after Wonder Woman. It shouldn't be too long. And then lastly, we have Booster Gold, which still doesn't have a casting confirmed, which is a bit of a bummer because it's one of the projects that James Gunn introduced the universe in and all that. And some of the projects they introduced the universe in, like The Authority, have been canned pretty much at this point. And so I still think a Booster Gold project is going to be in development. And I actually think there's a chance, a small chance, because he is linked to Blue Beetle, if I know things correctly, that he could also appear in animation form before live action if he appears in the Blue Beetle animated series. And outside of that, I don't know. But those are the 6 projects that we have confirmed. One has a release date, one has a release timeline. Creature Commandos is coming on nicely. Wonder Woman is kind of getting fast tracked. Waller, we have no clue. Booster Gold, we also have no clue. Those two are just generalized kind of predictions. So now we have the 6 projects I think will be coming out in 2029 and beyond. I have listed Jamie Olsen here, but this could also be fast tracked since it's a TV show, and it could just be a small production scale, and it could come out sometime around Man of Tomorrow. Why do I say that? Because so far, there's been a pattern. The pattern has been that roughly a month or two after every Superman related movie, there is a TV show. Why am I bringing this up? Because Supergirl comes out this month, and in August, Lanterns come out. Last year was Superman and Peacemaker. So one can conclude that if they keep this up, then Man of Tomorrow may be followed up as well. And so I have listed as well here Swamp Thing. This is only contingent on how well Clayface does. And I believe if Clayface does well enough, they will fast track this, and this will probably come out much before 2029. But that all depends on Clayface and also where they are currently on production. I believe this could come out between 2028, 2029, or further later than that. Then we have the Mr. Miracle miniseries. I believe this could come out in 2028 or 2029, depending on where they are production, depending on live action or animation. But this is also a miniseries, and I don't believe it's going to go past 1 season. So I don't think this will be too much in production. This will just depend on scripts, casting, directing, and everything like that, and when timing comes together and all that. James Gunn has said that his goal is to produce around 5 to 7 projects a year, but we all know it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get to that because he has to build all the groundworks and build up the Trinity of the DC and build up all the universe of the DC first, and then start building out and expanding and taking a few risks. Clayface is the first risk that he's doing. That's a fact. All right. And then, so beyond that, we have the Brave and the Bold. I don't think this is going to be called Batman. Either it's going to be called Batman or the Brave and the Bold, not Batman the Brave and the Bold, because James Gunn has stated he doesn't like subtitles towards a movie title, which is why Man of Tomorrow is called Man of Tomorrow, not Superman 2 Man of Tomorrow. It comes easier off the tongue for people to say. It's why Supergirl was called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but they shortened it to Supergirl. I believe Man of Tomorrow isn't called Superman because it's not just a Superman movie. I believe it's a Superman and Lex Luthor movie. So the Brave and the Bold will, of course, will be based off of Damian Wayne being Robin, and Batman in his 40s or so. And so that would presumably be in 2029. I don't know whether or not they'll put 2 Batman or Batman related projects in the same year. They could also put this sometime in 2028. Depends on when Dynamic Duo comes out. But that's being developed off of 2 Robins, so I don't know if they want that to overshadow it or not by it coming out before or after Dynamic Duo, which is why I think a 2029 March or October slate is just about perfect for this film. Outside of that, we have Bane and Deathstroke and the Teen Titans film. The Teen Titans film will come out after Wonder Woman, so this is why it'll be coming out late 29, early 2030. Bane and Deathstroke will be a case of just depend on how other projects do and how the stuff ends up falling for it. I don't know if Bane and Deathstroke will be the actual title. I think this will be a Bane Deathstroke movie, but this will be expanding the rogues gallery of Batman, including the Society of Six or something like that. And so that'll come out probably around 28 to 2030. And something like that. These are all really, really speculative, and these all 6 of these do really determine from other projects and when stuff comes up for them, and also approval from Gunn and Safran and stuff like that. Remember, James Gunn isn't writing everything. He knows he can't write everything, but he is still approving everything. And he wants everything to fit into his overall vision while still being as broad and expansive as possible. So now we're going to be going over to the rumored projects, and then lastly to the possible future projects. Alright, so now we have 5 projects that are rumored, and 3 of them are much, much smaller ones. The first of which is a Huntress foreign film that we have heard that will be like German or no, I think it's Korean based foreign film. And so that could come out anytime, but we haven't known too much, and it's not outright confirmed. It's kind of rumored a little bit right now. The second one is Plastic Man, either a show or a movie. I feel like this could be a show more than a movie. If it's a movie, it will be like Clayface with a small budget, so it's not too much of a risk factor, and it's not too much on CGI as a whole. And it will probably be another one of DC's doing a villain slash hero or anti-hero origin story in a small budget and overall low risk film that I feel that more movie companies should do that are bigger on certain things. And then the last of the bottom 3 that we have is a Dead Man TV show or movie, which I feel is the perfect place to introduce the supernatural world. Deadman is a supernatural figure that, in one point or instance, in one of the animated shows, possesses Batman, and that's basically Deadman. He's just a spiritual thing, and so I think this, if this comes out and this gets confirmed, I think this would be a great TV show and a great place to introduce those like Zatanna and Constantine and others of the Justice League Dark and Supernatural part of the DC. Now I'm going to lump the next two in one together, and that'll be Aquaman and Flash. I know at some point in Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, Flash and Aquaman must be introduced. I know they're just saving it for a bit later, since Aquaman is still a bit fresh from 2023, and because Flash is also still a bit fresh from just a few years ago with Ezra Miller. The general consensus is Aquaman would be more like a regular comic portrayal, and Flash would basically probably include Barry Allen training a young Wally West, and Barry Allen either dying or retiring at the end of the film, like Hal Jordan is presumably going to do at the end of Lanterns, as Wally West takes over. Because we do know as a fact that James Gunn is basing the Justice League off of the Justice League from the Justice League animated show, which has the lineup of Martian Manhunter, Hulk Girl, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Hal Jordan Green Lantern, and Wally West Flash. So I think that Aquaman and Flash could come out as early as 2028, since we don't know too much about them yet, and since they're also kind of rumored, and they have other stuff coming up before then. I think it's also because Wally West will probably be one of the younger characters, and so they probably don't even have the right actor yet, or the actor that they might have in mind may not be at the right age, so they may also be waiting for that. Aquaman is probably just they're waiting a little bit longer for Jason Momoa's Aquaman to be a little bit out further, and so I think it could come out in 2028 and Flash come out in sometime in 2029. I think at some point in the near future they're going to start having a few projects of multiple members of the Justice League, multiple members of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and or Flash, Aquaman, and others come out all in the same year, because that is the vision and the obvious goal. And so now on to the last part, the possible future projects I have, which is a couple different projects. All right. So I know one of these projects is the Batman Part 3, which is pretty much outright confirmed, just as contingent on how well the Batman Part 2 does. Just say that now. Okay, the next part is Lanterns. It's not confirmed, but I do believe there's going to be a Lanterns movie, or they'll just continue with a show overall. And so I think that'll come out very much earlier than we all think. I think 2028 is going to be the start of a very big start to the DCU in terms of it's been out for a few years, but I think 2028 is going to be the start of a lot of projects coming out all at once. And if they keep up in quality, it'll be great. And so I think Lanterns Season 2 or the film will come out with it expanding and keeping just Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan not being in there that much at all. The next project that I have here is Green Arrow and Black Canary. I don't know how old Green Arrow will be, since his Best Bud counterpart, Hal Jordan, is 50 plus, or 45 to 50 here. I do think he's going to be about 5 to 10 years younger than Hal Jordan, but still be around 35 to 40 years old. But I think this will be a wonderful and fantastic film. I think they will wait on this project until about 2028 or beyond, because of the impact that the Arrowverse had for such a long time. And also to not draw as much comparisons, just like the Flash movie and show with the new Flash movie coming in, and like with Aquaman, the old movie and the new movie coming in. So I think the Green Arrow and Black Canary will come out with a movie at some point after or in 2028. Then we have Creature Commandos Season 3, which, as long as season 2 does decently, I think season 3 will come out in 2029. Then, of course, after that, we have the presumable projects of the sequel to The Brave and the Bold, a sequel to Man of Tomorrow, a Nightwing project, which I think will be very fun if that does happen. I would love it if they do a Bloodhaven Nightwing project, which will be very fun. Also, it will be great. I also think a Zatanna project would be great. And also, of course, a Justice League project. Also, other projects that have been rumored heavily are Terrifics, like Mr. Terrific gathering a gang around him. I think a Hawkgirl project would be great. I don't think I don't think Guy Gardner will ever get a solo project. I think Hawkgirl has more potential because both ancient Egypt and Thanagar will need very further and high development in order to get to the level that they need to get to in later and future parts. But overall, that is everything about the DCU. And so that is all the possible future projects, I think. I'm not going too far into the dramatics of things or projecting certain things or bits in movies because I don't know too much about certain things yet. Um, one thing I will try to predict is, since it's going on in comics right now, let's have a little bit of fun. I would say Nightwing and Starfire, or I will say Nightwing and Starfire leads the Teen Titans in the film, or Red Hood does. One of the two. Nothing else. Alright, I thank you all for watching if you watched this far. I thank you for watching if you just watched bits and pieces of each and every different part. No matter what, I thank you for watching, and I thank you for all the support. Hey, if you're still watching and still here, like the video, and make sure to hit that subscribe button as we near and get close to 20 subscribers for this young channel. I hope to get to 500 subscribers by the end of this year. If not, let's just do 50 or 100. Comment below what you think, whether you disagree or agree with anything about the DCU or any of my thoughts about the possible future projects within the DCU and the vision that James Gunn and Peter Safran are building. I thank you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow as the Multiverse Saga final compilation video will come out, and so I'll see you all then. And also, I'll see you all on Wednesday with one more Star Wars video, even though it is June now. Thank you all. I thank you for your support. Goodbye, and God bless you all.